Art and alchemy are some of the greatest assets to overcoming spiritual warfare. The creative process is such a beautiful tool to dress the wounds that no one may be able to see. The creative process can be quite healing. We all know that art therapy has a place, and in my experience, it's helped me provide my own therapy. It doesn't matter what kind of battle you may be facing, there are tools that are practically free and they've been around for as long as humanity has been. It's not much different to writing, not much different to painting, not much different to creating symbols that help you express the things that are hard to get off your chest. So let's look into the tools to help us dress the wounds that no one can see, because spiritual warfare may be ramping up, or you may have already overcome a great amount of the spiritual warfare that you may be facing. And we can all be empowered for free. We don't need the self help books. We just need to drop the excuses and be honest with ourselves so we can move towards the creative reality because we can create our reality. It's the capacity to master our own emotions. Now, spiritual warfare can be inherited, it can be an epigenetics experience where traumas are passed down and then we're fighting demons from our own lineage. There are many aspects and ways to perceive where the warfare is coming from, but if you're watching this, you're probably looking to find the tools on how to face these things head on because they can be quite challenging, they can be quite confronting. So, the couple of tools or the destinations that I find to find the neutral ground is being comfortable with silence, being comfortable with nothing. And in my experience, that allows me to create. So I hope that if you are creating and you find those moments of nothingness, that you have arrived in a very special place to overcome the demons or overcome the battles or overcome whatever it is that is in your way. Because once we come back to the silence and come back to the stillness, we are ever so present in the now. And when we become present in the now, everything essentially becomes defeated. Even if it's momentarily, it becomes defeated and you can alter new patterns because you're back in the driver's seat of consciously creating. It could be the brushstrokes that you choose, it could be the words that you try to articulate, it could be the editing process within your mind to articulate the thing that's been on your mind. There are a range of expressions that already exist. These have helped me dress the wounds that no one can ever see, whether it be the autistic or all the different types of tisms or isms that exist. They usually stem from trauma. They usually stem from a lack. And it's very hard to come back to wholeness when we have to address the lack that we actually feel. Because once we address these wounds and remember the abundance, it usually, for me, comes through creative methods. Because you can create anything out of anything. You can recycle things. You can give anything more life. Or you can throw things away. You have the power of giving life or death, essentially. And it's not meant to be dark, it's just the duality of life. And, when we're not harming one another and we're uh, navigating the materialistic world with our creations, it can be very therapeutic because the best part of my own therapy that I've come across for myself is doing no harm. That practice is obviously within scripture and it uh, makes a lot of sense. And there's a whole another story on how that has become very significant to me on my journey, and the benefits of practicing and knowing your own integrity, that you are not doing any harm to no one, but you can express it through your art. Now, as an extreme to contain these thoughts, it's like there are uh, break rooms, I think they call them, or rage rooms, where you're actually encouraged to gear up and smash things. And that's a way to let out all this pent up frustration and alchemize that energy. And it's very powerful, and it should be, not underrated. It's rage and anger can be a beautiful thing for alchemy, because once we release these experiences that we've held on to for such a long period of time, because we're wearing a mask, or because we have to fit in with society, and there are a number of challenges that we have minimized our problems and not really addressed them. So, whatever your expression may be, most likely it may be temporary, but it could, those small steps to release and open yourself up back to the unconditional love that you are deep down inside, can actually play a bigger role in helping the collective, move through the hard times that we're facing. Because it's all up to us, our own authority, our own way of thinking, our own challenges to overcome, to dress our own wounds. It's interlinked with allowing the inner child to fall over and to heal themselves with a band aid. But as we become adults, band aids don't fix the invisible wounds, and there's no other metaphors that I'm going to choose, uh, because realistically, we don't need to escape. We just need to hug ourselves. We just need to practice self love, and that allows time to pass. And as time passes, these elements that we bring into our lives start to dress the wounds that maybe no one can see, and maybe we don't even see it ourselves. It might be within our own blind spots. So I encourage you to get creative, get amongst something that you haven't done before. Like, you can create a poem. It doesn't have to be rhythmic, it could just be a short story, but you might not want to, make go through the whole process of developing a plot, characters, or whatever it may be. So you can jot it down in some type of poetry. It simplifies the process, and it doesn't, tax you on your time, because your time is precious, and it's how you choose to make the most of it is very important. So for me, as much as I love stories, and I can be a great storyteller because I love my poetry, my passion, my artistic passions are art and music, or well, poetry and music. Paintings and drawings are fun ways to still my mind and focus on the very present moment. Each stroke, each line that I'm drawing becomes a whole healthy and beneficial distraction, essentially. So there are many elements that we can fuse together. It just takes a moment to breathe into the pain that we may be feeling. So hopefully these are some tools that can help you dress the wounds through your spiritual warfare. There are so much possible ways to make yourself feel good, but the bare essentials come down to self love, self expression, your breath, and feeling safe again. Because you'll be surprised how often people may seem to feel unsafe. It might be within themselves, and that might be a list of insecurities. but they're nothing to be ashamed of. It's just the reality of what we may have been conditioned into. So when we allow ourselves to look at through different perspectives of why things are showing up for us, and then acknowledging that we aren't alone, but we are the only ones that can pull ourselves out of it. And yes, we can look on a faith-based uh, idea, but that's your personal experience after all. I'm not going to argue faith in my videos right now or ever, really. It's simply your own personal choice and your own personal exploration, because it doesn't matter what I believe and how I believe what I believe, because that's my personal relationship with my own faith in whatever it may be. And it's a bit more nuanced for me because I don't necessarily, faith is an aspect, but once you have experienced the things that I've experienced, there's a knowing. And a knowing transcends doubt. And I try my best not to explore the doubts that fill my mind. I think they're part of like they have a place in, everything in moderation has a place. They make us stronger, but too much of a bad thing can really weigh you down. So art and alchemy help dress the wounds and can bring light to the world. And when you share your art and allow it to be received, it's a beautiful gift. And honestly, sometimes it's the mystery of how will what you share be received, because it's everyone's different and everyone has a different lens to perceive your art from. So it creates a whole new ball game to play with, and you can interact with it in a very healthy way. There is nothing other than your own authority of what you're creating and what you're choosing to share. So if you're trying to dress your wounds, allow the alchemy to flow through you, allow the breath, allow, maybe 3 days. It's what I usually rely on for change to start to show. It could take years in a longer time frame, like depends on how you zoom into time, because time is always going to pass, right? But if we are consciously trying to make a change, we need to dedicate 3 days. From my experience, that's what works for me. So that's why I'm sharing. Focus on 3 days to rewire your brain to do something different. It's how I stopped smoking. It's how I stopped uh, a lot of my habits that didn't serve me. I mean, having a sober life can be very, very challenging. And that's, I suppose, those challenges make me turn to art, because there's a natural high that you get, and you get to share that and help more people reach these natural highs and use their own imagination, especially in this modern world where, if you've noticed the cars, they're no longer having their bright colors. They're very dull and very predictable, and most buildings are losing color. There's nothing really artistic, or there's no life in the city. A lot of things seem like like the life has been sucked out of them. So when we create, we actually insert life into our imagination. And some people may just need, something abstract just to distract themselves, because that is a beautiful process to give someone, something new to perceive and challenge their own mind. Because art is very hard to be judged, it's very hard to be critiqued as good or bad. It's however we see it. So I hope that if you're still watching, thank you for your time. I hope these things that I've shared help you dress the wounds, or help you find the tools that you need, or hopefully there's some inspiration that has been achieved. So if you do like this video, if you do like my channel, if you do like my weird perspectives, Please like, subscribe, share, help the algorithm find more people that are looking to find these tools. Small channels do tend to struggle in this attention economy, and your support means a lot to me so I can develop these messages a lot more better, I suppose. So thank you for your time, and yeah, keep working towards peace, love, and unity. Take it easy.